Hello, everyone, and welcome to Systems Lab Live. I'm excited. We are kicking off October. I realize that it has been quite a few weeks since we have been joined here together on a weekly basis doing a couple of things. We're managing projects, leading teams, and developing processes. We have an exciting program here today. One thing I want you to do is I want you to share this live stream out with about 3 to 5 people who are really looking at how do I collaborate better with my team members? That's the question that we're going to be posing today. I have my slide deck up for in a minute, but I just want to welcome you all. Welcome. This is the October 2nd edition of Systems Lab Live. I am your host, Ashley Schuler. And yes, we are here kicking off this month. It is October. How is everybody faring? How is everybody faring since we've, had about 24 hours of all things October? How are we feeling? Are people getting their pumpkin spice lattes? Are people getting their apple cider donuts? Hey, I just drove by a pumpkin patch and I said to myself, when they said apple cider donuts, I said, I should partake in that. Yes, I felt the need. I felt the urge. I said, you know what? I should stop by when the little fair is going on, the little pumpkin patch situations going on. And I should pick me up a little 6-pack of apple cider donuts. Do not tell Rochelle T. Parks. That's my health coach. I'm saying I don't have them in my possession, but in my heart of hearts, I said, why not? Why not go after these apple cider donuts? All right, everybody. So I'm excited about today's topic. Why? Because we are doing something really fun. We are diving into case studies. I asked this question on social media and I said, hey, what is it in terms of content do you all want to see? What do you all want to see? Because I want to be able to make sure that we're doing things that are fresh, that are things that also that you would like to see. And so I asked the question, and the question said, hey, peeps, what y'all want to see in terms of content wise? Like, I listed out a few topics, and some people said, you know what? I'd love to see case studies. And that was like a wild card kind of suggestion that I wanted to put into play. But here we are. And so we're going to dive into this case study. I won't be here before you long. We'll probably spend about a good old 40 hours or so. I need to grab my water. Hold on, folks. Okay. I want to be professional, but I don't want to get, parched and can't talk. All right. So we're going to dive right into it. Again, please share in the chat. What are you working on this month? This is a brand new quarter as well. And so I just want to make sure, here we go, that we're on tap, folks, for being equipped for the work ahead, our day-to-day tasks, our projects, the people that we work with. So I love it. We're moving and grooving. And again, share this live with about 3 to 5 people, especially those that are like, you know what? I'm kind of trying to figure out how I can collaborate better with my team members. So we're going to hop on over. And as you see the lovely slide deck right here, here's where we're talking about here today. We're going to do a project case study, but I want to set the tone for what we are about to do. Let's set the tone, shall we? We have our question of the day. We're going to be defining what collaboration opportunities are, and then we're going to go through a case study on the elements of collaboration. And I'm excited about. I'm truly excited about that. Let me make sure to let me get my settings. I just want to make sure a couple things. Okay, let me make sure. Settings wise, I think we are. Oh, okay. Are we? Not me muted. Okay, there you go. Thank you. Thank you so much. I was like, not me muted. All right, cool. Today's question of the day is, how can we help different team members work together better? Work together better. Just want to say work together better. And so, where did this question originate from? So, I was actually giving a presentation last week, the week before last, on the art of collaboration to the federal government workforce. I explained to our good old Fed friends, I explained to them, here's what we're seeing. Collaboration isn't really anything new. Number one, let's make that clear. Collaboration is not new. We're doing it all the time. However, I have been situationally positioned inside of the workplace, I think intentionally, but also unintentionally. But I've had the pleasure of the past 3 or 4 years to be on this journey of pushing the boundaries of how we can work and collaborate better together. And so, as a project manager, I have been able to lead out teams that have been cross functional teams across agencies. And so, this type of work that I'm particularly was assigned to, and that I again, I take great pleasure in it. It wasn't siloed work, really. Like, there's very minimal part of this particular work that I'm in. I work in policy that is siloed. And so what I found is that the need for collaboration, especially on policy projects, especially when you're doing work, maybe you're work on a board, maybe you're working on some key initiatives. There are particular things that you gotta you gotta really think intentionally about how one or how a team comes together to work better. And so the pandemic hit, and all of a sudden we were needing each other more, like on Microsoft Teams or on Slack or Zoom. Like, we needed more answers to things. We needed to understand each other's thought processes and whatnot. And as communication became such a high sticking point inside of the workplace, and let's not forget, like, entrepreneurs, small businesses, what have you, this is all across these different verticals that I'm talking about. Collaboration is a subset of communication, because you can't have one without the other. But what I found is that creating collaboration opportunities, we're going to go into that definition in a minute, really helped me understand how we can work better. But we'll get into the definition in a minute. But let's set the tone for a little bit. What I want to talk about, why you should care about this, because you're probably thinking, this is probably something I already know about. Or what are you trying to say? Or what are you trying to spiff up here talking about the art of collaboration? Let me tell you something. And maybe we need to chat GPT to wordsmith out the title. I don't know, but this is what comes to me, the art of it, because it's not, again, I think people that are artists, there is a certain passion that they have. There's a process, there are tools that they use. So that's why I call it the art of collaboration. So why you should care? Why is this relevant? Why are we even doing this? Well, here's a Gallup study that I pulled up. They polled a number of, like, over 1,000 or so employees, and what they did is they just took apart, like, what exactly is happening in the remote hybrid workforce. So right now, here's what we're looking at. 53% of the US jobs are hybrid, 27% are exclusively remote, 21% are on site. To me, this is what this says to me, is that there's no other way that we can slice and dice this whole remote work model situation, and we can't, there's no way that we can cut and slice and dice it any other way than them to plainly state that it's here to stay. Okay, that it is here to stay. And because of these numbers, which I believe are going to be dependent on what we're looking at, I think on site, I think we'll see a bit of movement, but I also think there's also going to be an increase in exclusively remote and hybrid as well. I think we're going to see some employers say, you know what, this ain't worth the juice. This ain't worth the gas to be going through all this stuff of employees saying, I don't want to take no promotions. I don't care about PTO. I don't really care about, getting perks and incentives and things like that. As long as I have work balance, as long as I have a handle on my schedule, I'm going to be right here up in this laptop situation. Hopefully at least 3 days at home, 2 in the office. If you're in that hybrid situation, some people are like, I don't think so. We are remote all day, every day. And that's just the situation at hand. Some people want to go back to the office. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I do want to note that exclusively remote employees feel least connected to an organization's mission or purpose. Okay, the mission or purpose of my company makes my job feel important, which I believe that's something to note. Like I agree with that. I think that is really important. I think this is really one of the reasons why when we talk about managing remote teams, we're gonna have something a little special coming out about that very soon. When we talk about managing remote teams, a lot of people are disillusioned, they're disconnected, they're disengaged because there's no strategy, there's no intentionality behind having a remote or hybrid remote policy, or dare I say, a collaboration strategy. Come on, somebody in the comments say, I'm following you, Ash. Come on, somebody say, I am following you, Ash, please. I know you're following me. Okay. But I do have a little bit of a point that I want to make about team in person. Team, I want to be in person all the time. I hear you, I see you, I am not going to ignore you. 80% of employees who said they received meaningful feedback in the past week were fully engaged, regardless of how many days they worked in the office. So listen, whether you are in the office, whether you are remote, they took that little poll and said, when I am fully engaged, hey, somebody, I love to have meaningful feedback. Meaningful feedback works for me, but that only takes place when there is intentionality among leadership, among executive leadership, C-suite, middle managers, team leaders, and co-workers and colleagues. And this is shout out to the in-person folks. 4 times as many people said the boost in engagement from meaningful feedback is 4 times from having the right number of days in the office. Okay, that should satisfy some of our in-person advocates out there. I see you, I feel you, I hear you, and we love you. However, we are still in the day and age where we need more intentionality behind our hybrid remote work policy, or our remote work only policy, however you want to kind of shake it and bake it. But again, this is why we're shaping this conversation of why you should care, because it's all about the intentionality. Now we're going to get to my working definition. I love this. The working definition of collaboration opportunities, because you'll hear more about it. You sure will. The intentionality to collaborate on problems, issues, tasks proactively to increase productivity and innovative problem solving. That's what we mean here, folks. That's what we're talking about here. All right? That's what we're doing. That's what we mean when we talk about collaboration opportunities. Some people might say, well, actually, aren't you just talking about getting on Zoom and just working something out? We sure are. Just kidding, we're not. So we're not just talking about, hey, let's just hop on a Zoomy or a Teamy, Microsoft Teamy, or a Google Chatty, or what is it? Is it Google Chat? Google something. Anyway, the Google video chat, and just say, let's get on and just work this out. That is good. It's good because that shows that you're working together. When I talk about collaboration opportunities, I talk about there is an issue, a problem, there is a task at hand, and it's not meant for one or two people to have a piece of it and then kind of volley back and forth like it's pickleball. And, they're just going back and forth to just get it done. Shout out to the pickleball players. Can't wait to get back on the court. And so we're talking about if we're talking about looking back, and this is what I told the our Fed friends. This is what we did. We went back and we said one of the core staple um, ways to identify collaboration opportunity is to look back at your past projects or even current projects. And this is a good like lessons learned exercise to see, all right, where do we need more collaboration within our work? Where do we need it? Because there could be a problem that you're looking to solve, an initiative, something that you're looking to do that says, this is more than just let me schedule a meeting with somebody just to get their feedback. This is really what is our mission? What is our goal in this task? What are our roles? And then how are we going to solve it? And this is proactively. Proactively. So I told the story of an opportunity where I was organizing several collaboration opportunity sessions. Okay. And why I did that is because we needed to get ahead of an issue. We just needed to be able to come together, 4 or 5 of us, very opinionated. We have different types of viewpoints on some things. We agree, I think, on most things, right? But for this particular initiative that we needed to do some problem solving for, I was like, we don't know. We don't just need to just put a Microsoft Word document together and do a little share button and just start to comment. We need to have true discussion. And so what collaboration opportunities do is it helps you to be super intentional about who's in the room. It actually provides an opportunity for you to think through what questions am I going to ask? Also, is there going to be an exercise or how am I going to structure the meeting in such a way that it's going to get to its end goal? So I had about 4 to 5. I think there may be like one more left. But these were opportunities. Again, we needed to problem solve. We had a goal. We had a mission, and we had what we were solving for. So we'll break this down even more as time goes on when we talk about collaboration opportunities. I'll definitely be dropping some information in my Substack. Yeah, you'll have to go to the link in the YouTube URL, or if you're on Instagram, you'll just go into the link into my bio. And so what you'll do there is you'll go and you'll subscribe. It is a paid subscription. And this is where I'm going to be having more conversations about everyday work. I love to have them. And I know that a question for a lot of people is, how do I learn more? How do I get more information? How do I help learn more about this project world and what I need to do? I believe that just like your health and working out and eating healthy, that there is a particular discipline that you have to have in the project management space. And I don't think that it is something that you just pick up one day and say, I'm going to pick it back down. I think it's an everyday thing. I think it's the daily practice, which is my other newsletter. We do a one question a week. You can sign up for that too. But I'm definitely going to be doing some more cool content stuff for that. Okay. We have talked about collaboration opportunities. Next up, let's hit it with the case study, folks. Who is ready for the case study? I know I am. So here we go. I'm telling you what. I want to shape this for you all. I was a project manager for a federal advisory council. This was for the U.S. Economic Department. Oh, Economic Development Administration. I was like, Economic Department. No, Economic Development Administration, EDA. Wonderful time. And I was responsible for managing a 30-member council. And I did a lot of things. I was even reviewing my own resume and some things that I had created. And I was like, man, wasn't this something else? And I don't know about y'all, but there were just several things that really captivated me about this particular endeavor. I want to talk to you about the challenge that we faced. So, all of our members were in 30 different cities. Sorry, 30 members in different cities. I don't think all of them were in 30 different cities, but we had 30 members on this council. Okay. And we also had some budget restrictions. This was also new because the office that I worked in, the Office of Innovation and Entrepreneurship, which is still standing to this day with one of my old colleagues, is still there doing a fantastic job. And everybody was new to this whole like federal advisory council situation. The director, the two other staff members, me, like everything was new. And so they just brought on this brand new council, 30 people, just about. And so there were so many different challenges, but they were good challenges. And then some were like not so fun at times. Everything was new. So learning what does it mean to have a federal advisory council? What are the rules around that? Technology and logistics. And then also like how do you organize work among 30 people? Because I should say this, the National Advisory Council on Innovation and Entrepreneurship. This is what it does, okay? It's charged to developing a national entrepreneurship strategy that strengthens America's ability to compete and win as the world's leading startup nation and as the world's leading innovator in critical emerging technologies. So the council was responsible for any solutions that would drive the innovation economy, the STEM workforce. They would talk about removing barriers to innovative technologies in the market. So this was something to me. I was like, man, this is pretty cool. And also, this was also my first introduction to entrepreneurship. And I had a colleague that he had a business, and we were talking about this was very new work for me. Like I was like, I've never really heard of like startups and like emerging technology and and what does that mean? So I got a up close and personal look at very smart people in various different industries and technology and synthetics and incubators and accelerators. Like I was starting to learn new language. I was like, what is that? Like, it really opened my eyes. So from this perspective, like being charged, like this group being charged to come up with recommendations, introduce policy, you know, this was super cool work. I got to learn, and also I got to help manage the workflow and the operations behind this particular council. So it was pretty cool. I want to take you on the journey of how everything took place, how we collaborated, what we did well, what didn't we do well. And then I want to fast forward to what I would have done today. If I was in this position today, I would tell you exactly also what I would do. And hindsight is hindsight, because this was about this is probably about like 8-9 years ago. This is about like 8 or 9. Yeah, this was about 8 or 9 years ago. I think so. I'm gonna tell you one thing for sure. Don't ever take the calculator away. Because I'd be trying to let me see something. 2024 minus, yeah, because this was like 15, 16, yeah. Okay. Yeah. So this was about 8-9 years ago. And we let us just take a deep breath on that. This is about 8-9 years ago. So a lot of things were super different. We had conference call lines. Hello, somebody. Bloop, 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 bloop. All of these types of things. Crazy. All right, let's go on the journey. I want to take you on the journey of sort of what was happening. Phase one of this process, we need to understand the purpose. So we came together. I know for me, I read the Federal Register notice. I read all that I could on the function of this group. Now, we don't, we didn't really know these people, right? Like, you know them from a can of paint, right? Worked closely with my director and the deputy, and then another analyst, an analyst specialist type of person, to really sort of get the groundwork going on like how we were going to divide up the work, what we were going to do in terms of a budget, what we were going to do in terms of the risk that might be involved, the scope of the council. And so we created a project charter. I'm always going to advocate. I don't care what century it is. I don't care if it's 2027 or 2032. I'm always going to say you need a project charter. What is a project charter? For those that may not know, or those that might think, oh, I know what it is. Listen, your very favorite project management tools have a little button, a little doc section or something that say press that button and they'll give you a project charter. But your project charter is literally a GPS. It is a compass. It is the direction in which the project is. So we're talking about the scope and requirements. What's required for this project? What's not? They're talking about the budget. We're talking about who's involved and who's involved. We're talking about risk, timelines, key deliverables. This is what you need. This is what every single project, I don't care if it is a podcasting tour or if it is a church anniversary or you are doing a conference. You need a project charter. You need a project charter. Everybody got to get on the same page on what's going on. Okay, that's my little spiel about project charters. So that's what we were doing. So we were situating ourselves and thinking through, all right, so what does this look like? That was our question. How are we going to work together? And we needed to establish some rules around how we were going to go about running this council. And a little caveat, there are public meetings. We had about 4 of them. And I would say that we didn't make any, like we had thoughts about how we were going to put together like a communications plan, for instance. And just to be very transparent, our communications plan was let's organize weekly or bi-weekly calls with the chairs, or let's make sure we organize our work groups. You see that in phase 3. So in phase 2, I started talking about a little bit, but this is about stakeholder management. We're talking about navigating personalities, identifying co-chairs, stakeholder management. So we're in phase 1 and phase 2. We're figuring out all the things. We're figuring out the function, who's going to do, who's going to lead and spearhead some of the work, especially the behind the scenes internal operations. What does that look like? So I would help to steer that work. I would help to be able to get people in the room, the right people in the room. And we had like stickies on the wall. Hello. And those were a lifeline back then, having those big old stickies. Now we have online stickies like Miro, and Whimsical. I love me some Whimsical. Phase 3 of coordinating the work. So there were issue papers, coordinating work groups, and then we identified technology tools. So we had shared repositories. Back then, there was an early version, I want to say, of Basecamp that somebody was introducing. Somebody was like, hey, I think we should use Basecamp. And we were like, Basecamp? So we were all like, what's Basecamp? So, but to the point is that we needed a place to centralize our work. So our collaboration opportunities were these work groups. We had either bi-weekly or monthly calls that was dependent on the lead for that working group. And so there were working meetings that were happening. where they would lead out the efforts and, had somebody take notes and be a part of the meetings and, just kind of make sure that, again, tied to the mission of what the council and the initiatives that each of the working groups had. And we had about like 10. We had like 10 working groups. And so that was a lot. That was a lot to oversee. Again, a key part of even the collaboration opportunities is make sure that you have identified the right technology tools and the workflow. That helps to make sure that people know where the information is and how they can access it at any given time of the day, whether that's 3 a.m. or 3 p.m. And then last, rinse and repeat was basically working the plan. We had, again, quarterly meetings, and then we did work in between those meetings, and then we had updates and things of that nature. But our collaboration opportunities and what that looked like, even for an environment that didn't even have like a lot of technology, like we didn't even have SharePoint. We weren't even using SharePoint like that. We were just using a shared drive space. We were using email. But our collaboration opportunities were really centered around the working groups. So we had agendas for the working groups. We worked with the chair of each of the working groups. We were able to, you know, be able to transcribe notes and take notes and have action items and things that were in parking lot. When you have those questions or the ideas that got to stay to the side, and those were our collaboration opportunities. If we go back to the working definition of this, let's go back. It's the intentionality to collaborate on problems, issues, and tasks proactively to increase productivity and innovative problem solving. So, with that said, we had an assignment, we had work to do, we had goals that we needed to reach. So, instead of, just trying to shoot at the hip, so to speak, in terms of, all right, let's just get everybody together and let's just decide things. No. Like, how are we going to frame the discussion? Yeah, what does that look like? How are we going to frame the discussion? What needs to be prepared? And I think when we talk about being proactive with the work we have, especially since we're in a hybrid and remote environment, like it was a remote experience. Like the whole thing was a remote experience. Why? Because everybody was in different cities. So we had conference calls and we had to make sure that we prepared documents ahead of time, that we had to send attachments, right? We had to make sure everything was really, really um, articulated, and also like the logistics of coordinating every single piece of work. It had to be smooth. It had to be smooth. So, questions, let me know what questions you have. We're about to dive into this last piece. I'm excited about it. Collaboration opportunities. I should say this is probably like Redux or 2.0. But I want to share with you, here's really how you all can be able to start diving into collaboration opportunities. And also, here's something I would also do as well. Let's say, fast forward, if I was managing this particular council, we would listen. We'd be having a time with all of my technology tools that I would be like, all right, this is what we adopted. So this is what I would have. Miro and Zoom would be my best friends. Miro, because I would be able to create all sorts of Miro boards that would be able to get feedback. I would be able to do brainstorming. We would have meetings and things. It would be fire, the whole thing. So thinking through the technology that you need is really going to help amplify the collaboration experience that you have. So making sure that you have the right technology is going to be important. Project management. Now, project management was done via Microsoft Excel. That's all we got. Okay. Now I think we all know that we can't do all that now. We can't just be in Excel or Google Sheets managing projects. We got free tools, y'all. ClickUp, Asana, Trello, Smart Suite. Yeah, Smart Suite, Monday.com. I would have a PM tool for all internal staff because there was different tasks that each of us were doing. And so that would be something that I would utilize. A council member hub. Ooh, wee. A Microsoft SharePoint or a Coda Doc. Shout out to Coda. This is really going to help with propelling some of our offline work where people can work asynchronously by reacting to a document, whatever recommendations that we had, whatever sort of proposals or pitches or things that we needed, put it in the council member hub, have people to be able to add their thoughts. We could even put them in a Slack channel or put them in probably a Microsoft Teams channel, right? I'm talking about FedGov now. But government uses Slack as well. But I would advocate for using Slack, and we would have a Slack for our 30 member council. And I'd be able to tag in and say, hey, we got a new doc in the hub, and it would just notify everybody. So we'd be able to push the work along asynchronously, then come together intentionally, to do that. And so that is, my friends, what I would do there. That'd be a cool council member hub. We would have updates, people to post updates. We would have little breakout channels because there were 10 different working groups. It would be fire, the whole thing. And then standard operating procedures. So I'm a big advocate of, we need to be able to document this experience, not only internally, but also what we were doing with the council work as well. So that could be a Coda Doc or a Microsoft Word as well. So that's my take on the Art of Collaboration case study. If you guys have any questions at all, hit me up at Instagram or on LinkedIn, slide into my DMs, give me a voice note. Also, join my Substack, where I will be breaking down even more insights each week based upon the live stream. And we are going to continue to ride this wave. So we'll be back next week. It's going to be a good time, a good topic. We'll be back with another case study, and it's going to be really good. It's going to be super, super exciting. So thank you all once again for this time. I'm excited just to be, again, learning with you all, journeying with you in your project management career. And that's all. And also, too, hey, check out my latest Instagram post. If you're on Instagram, we got a couple of speaking opportunities that I have. Oh, one is closed, one's open. One is with the PMI Baltimore chapter. And so all the information is there. If you're local in the area, swing on by. We're going to be talking about what does it take and how to be an emotionally intelligent project manager. It's going to be great. I'm excited about that. All right, y'all. That's it. Talk to y'all soon. Make sure you share this live stream with about 5 to 10 project managers who need to know, how can I work better together with my team? How can I help people work better together? How do we amplify these collaboration opportunities? All right. See ya.